Hello. How are you? Fine, thank you. And you? Great. I asked you twice. Now let me sing it to you. Roohaa Degozaru Bideo Buroogu Hey yokuzo do Desu ka Do desu ka? I'll tell you how I feel. I feel pretty good about what I just did right there. It's about time. You know what's different about today, and why maybe I didn't completely blow the intro theme? Turn that down a little bit. That's better. You know why? Because I had work today. Yeah, it's the first day back from a long time. Let me tell you something funny about Japan. A little Japan joke. Good times. This is the real deal if you end up working here. Japan just gave me a wonderful winter break, and I'm thankful because, you know, a lot of people who work in schools are lucky because they get amazing breaks and they don't have to deal with, you know, never having a decent vacation. But I just had 2 weeks. As I said, I went to Hokkaido. We'll get to Grandma's slideshow in a minute. And what's funny is we had to go back. Today's Friday. It's Friday where I am in the universe right now, in time and space. And I had to work today. And tomorrow, I mean, today it's the weekend. It's the weekend right now. Weekend shoot this. But on Monday, I have the day off because it's a holiday. It's another holiday. You're asking yourself, Roohaa Degozaru Doshite Nagai Fuyo Yasumi no Sugu at To Kinyobi Nano ni Shigoto ni Karenakereba narinai. Naranai desu ka? Doshite? Sore ni Sono kinyobi wa nagai shumatsu no mai no nano desu. Mai no nano desu. Yeah, that sounds right. Translation. Why the hell do I gotta go back to work after a super long break right before a long weekend? That's the question. In America, we just say, oh, whatever, we'll just give them a Friday. But I don't know, these JPs, they got these ideas about them. So keep that in mind. Expect interesting little things like that. Like, if there's a holiday on Tuesday, they're not going to tack it onto the weekend because, you know, like Americans are like, well, might as well have a 3-day weekend. Japanese say, no, you're going to work on Monday, you have your day off Tuesday, and then you go back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I mean, I guess it's, you know, it's more traditional. Like Thanksgiving, it's always the third Sunday of November or something. I don't know, but I always thought it was like the 23rd, 24th. Anyway, I'm getting too sidetracked. Yes, today's Friday. I went back to work. Therefore, my life is slightly more in tune with everything under the moon, of the sun, eclipsed by the moon, etc. Last night I played Dungeons and Dragons at my Tomodachi's, and I threw a hell of a battle at them. This may not concern people interested in Japan, but I love Dungeons and Dragons. And I threw 80 minions at these guys. 80 bad guys. And that's not even counting the tough guys. That was just the minions. See, they went into this wedding, and it got out of hand. But needless to say, it was a long night, and middle school today, it wasn't bad, but it was good times. Yes, Hokkaido slideshow. Maybe we ought to get right into it. Let's continue Grandma's slideshow, part 3 of X. So, put my microphone down. Oh, flipped over. It's okay. Don't flip on me. Okay. Ooh. So last time we joined our heroes, they were eating potatoes, having a good time. And this time, we woke up the next morning and we got on a train. And this train headed up north to the coast. We were heading to a town called Otaru, which is the, I believe, the small barrel. And they had quite a few barrels there. But this is a picture of the beautiful coast, the northern coast of Hokkaido. And I guess I should say northwestern coast, because the northern coast is way up there. So anyway, this is a picture of the coast, and it is beautiful. Oh, another picture of a building. I kept taking pictures, well, me and the Lord kept taking pictures back and forth, but I was real interested in this architecture and just the buildings, and I snapped this one as I was cruising by on the train. I like it. I like that blue building. Look at that doorway, that Genkan. That's edgy. If you take the Genkan and like turn it to the left a little bit, as in flip it towards us, it matches the right wall almost perfectly. I wonder if they planned that. And you'll notice it's snowy like no other. It was really snowy this day. Here's another picture. More coasty buildings. This is not well composed, but I was kind of trying to take a lay of the land. Oh, so we got to Otaru, and this is a picture from a bridge of a beautiful canal. To the right, you'll see a building with like green awnings. That building is actually a brewery. And we stopped at a beer brewery. You could tell we had a couple beverages during our journey, whether sake or fermented in other ways. But I'll get to that in just a minute. I just thought this picture was beautiful. I think Lord Chesterfield took it. You can see the beautiful design of the railings. A couple of dimes just kicking it. There are dimes left and right in this place, even in Otaru. Although Otaru was filled primarily with old people. It's good times. Here's another picture of Otaru. I believe this was taken after we got out of the station. No real distinguishing things that make me know that it's Otaru or not, but it's just another picture of Hokkaido. Oh, look at this. We're walking around town, and we had this thing where I was walking around with a big snowball. People, all these Japanese people are like, what is this guy doing with a snowball? I'm a little worried about this. And we made a snowman out of it. You can see Tyrone Biggums putting the... Not Tyrone Biggums. Wait, yeah, Tyrone Biggums. Tyrone Jenkins. I'm sorry. Tyrone Biggums. Oh, that's from Dave Chappelle. That's still hilarious. But yeah, Tyrone Jenkins. He's putting the finishing touches on it. I gave it that little smirk, but he's got a little... It's cool. Good stuff. Oh, here we go. So the brewery I previously mentioned with the green awnings, this is a giant boiler beer fermentation device inside of it. There are a couple other pictures we took, but it was, I don't know what happened to them. By the way, Lord Chesterfield, I looked at the pictures and I couldn't find the pretzel one. So speaking of, the pretzels, they had pretzels here. This place was like German themed. They had two really good beers, which we tried. And they had non-alcoholic beer, which Tyrone drank, because Tyrone's not a drinker. He doesn't have to bog himself down in the trappings of slobs like me and the highballer and the Lord. But the Lord hails from England, so it's like in his nature he has to drink. And I just like drinking. Occasionally. A lot. And the beers we tried, not to get off course, one was called a Dunkel, and it was like a heavy stout. And apparently this stout was the only thing that a certain order of monks would be able to consume during their 40 days of fasting. Although, to tell you the truth, it's not really fasting because it was a heavy beer, and it was good. And the other beer we drank was this really light, I think they call them Luftwafens or Weferhauser. Either way, it was kind of like a super, super delicious light Blue Moon, but it tasted like bananas. They called it a banana beer, and you know I'm bananas about bananas. So it was delicious and delightful, and I feel like I could have drank like 50 of them. Anyway, where were we? Oh my gosh. So the reason we went to Otaru is this picture right here. You see this sushi? This is sushi. This is honorable sushi. The most honorable. This place is famous for its extremely fresh sushi, and we went to a slightly expensive restaurant, but needless to say, it was worth it because this sushi, even the squid, you know, the stuff in the middle, it's like looks like jelly, clear, gelatinous. The squid, typically when you eat squid in Japan, you know, it's got this texture and it's like chewy, and you know, a lot of foreigners, especially Western people, are like, "Oh my God, get this out of my mouth! I hate it." But I'm not one of those foreigners that subscribes to that notion. But this stuff, it it almost fell apart. It still had the chewy texture of squid, which is what you expect, but it was really good. And other than that, the red stuff, the what is that? Not lobster, crab, shrimp. The shrimp, the salmon, the other stuff too. It was all so good. The fish, the tuna, and the salmon. You just put it in your mouth and the stuff's gone. It melts. Oh my, sushi was legendary in this town. And it was recommended to me by one of my senpai. My senpai is my bro. Alright, next picture, please. Okay, so we went to Otaru for the day. We spent half the day there and we got back. We came back to town. And this star represents the Sapporo Beer Factory. So this is the Sapporo star. We are in Sapporo at the Sapporo Beer Factory. We're about to go do our Sapporo thing. Oh, the highballer. The highballer. Typically the highballer drinks highballs, hence his name. But since we were at the beer factory, he decided to get a Sapporo. I have to admit, Sapporo beer is not very special. Except they did have one really good one, and the highballer's enjoying it. And it's a very nice picture of him, so I had to throw it up there. Oh, a Christmas tree. Christmas tree. Christmas tree, this is out front of the Sapporo Museum, which is where we were drinking. And anyway, to get back to my beers, you know, they're just celebrating the snow. You can see Sapporo Museum looks like a freaking church. It practically is a church. It's a church of beer. Anyway, oh my, the lighting in this picture, it flabbergasts me how beautiful it is. And my smile is genuine, to say the least. So, starting from the left, no, starting from the right. Starting from the right is the the Sapporo Nama, which is just the regular draft Sapporo beer. The one in the middle is the Sapporo Classic. And it was a little bit more bitter than Sapporo. Sapporo, I could compare it to, you know, a more friendly to the palate kind of Budweiser of Japan. But it's Japan's Budweiser, and it's Sapporo. And as you know from last video, Hokkaido is Sapporo beer. So, anyway, and the beer all the way to the left was actually really good. It was a change of pace, and it was like a Hefty derivative. I don't know. They had some name for it. You can also see a medallion just to the left of the beer carrying apparatus, and that was a medallion of cheese. When you buy any beer, you get a free little snacky. And I chose cheese because, you know, dairy is all about Hokkaido. Hokkaido is dairy. And yeah, I just saw this beautiful picture. I drank them all quickly. Next, please. This is the smokestack behind the Sapporo Museum. And I thought it looked very, not quite Russian, but I thought it looked bad as hell. And when I say I thought and I took this picture, I really mean the Lord Chesterfield, because he's the one that took all the pictures. But yeah, this picture is great, and you can see stained glass window, which furthers the whole church atmosphere. And after we went to the beer museum, we went to one of the 3 beer gardens. They call them beer gardens, but they're just slightly overpriced restaurants. And that peeved us off. It made us unhappy. But we went to the one that had beer other than the regular beer. And this is the Creamy Top Stout. Yebisu is a product of Sapporo, if I'm not mistaken. But don't hold me to it. But I was there, so I guess you should hold me to it. But so yeah. Anyway, this stuff tasted great. I wouldn't quite say it's Guinness level of oishi yum yum, but it was great. And needless to say, a couple of them were ordered. Here's me after a long day, enjoying my creamy stout, my glass of water, and you know, it was good. It was good times. But something happened. We walked in. Japan, this happened to be one of the most awkward moments in our career as Hokkaido travelers, because we walk in, there's like 3 people in line to pay or whatever. And no one even acknowledged us or gave us an irashaimase, which is basically like, I acknowledge your presence, you are in my restaurant, I will serve you. They didn't even give us that. Alright? That's red flag number one. And it's not like they were busy. So then we walk in. We just walk right past the counter and we walk in. There's like a maitre d' looking lady. She's like a waitress. She basically sees if anyone needs help. And then she looks at us and we're like, hello, what's going on? And she doesn't say anything. And we, like, at this point, we're like, uh-oh, what do we do? I mean, other than being a bunch of foreigners in Hokkaido, which is like 10 times rarer than being a foreigner anywhere else in Japan. So we walk over to the table. And look at this guy. Look at this gentleman right here. We walk in front of him. There's like a fire pit, and we're like, let's sit near the fire pit, you know? Let's enjoy a couple beverages after our hard day. Let's do that, okay? And the lady who seated us, like, she saw us walk over to these tables, and then that's when it was like silent alarm went off. Everyone's freaking out, and we're just not. Interpret my phrase freaking out loosely, because the Japanese freak out about anything. You know, if there's 3 Japanese people behind the wheel and they're at an intersection, time stops and everything falls to pieces because everyone's too polite and they're all letting each other go first, which in turn means no one goes. But I'm not going to get into that right now, but consider a similar situation, because we walked in and sat down next to the fire, inadvertently blocking this gentleman's view, who we did not know who he was. We thought he's either a regular or maybe he's like the Sapporo beer factory like president, because he was the only one sitting in this section, and we were concerned. And we ended up, I said, I talked to him. I said, are we in your way, dude? And he said, no, it's all right, which is a very polite way of him saying, get the hell out of my way, or I'm going to burn the place down. And maybe I'm overextending my assumptions, but I know I saw the fire in his eyes, literally and figuratively. You like that one? What? Oh, click back. So yeah, here he is again, and I want to finish my story. So we're sitting down, and the lady didn't know what to do to seat us, and long story short, even though all my stories are long and overblown and disjointed completely, long story short, we felt like we weren't welcome. And normally that's the exact opposite of what you feel in Japan. But like, we walked in, apparently, I'm guessing, the guy who was at the front counter was supposed to walk us to the lady, and the lady was going to seat us where we wanted. Except we bypassed both of them and just sat down where we wanted. Ultimately, what we did probably wasn't wrong, but it's just we didn't wait an extra 15 minutes for 3 people to pay their bill when there was an entire empty restaurant that needed sitting. And normally, since we have to, deal with the menus and all this stuff, we normally take 15 minutes to look at the menu anyway, so they really have nothing to worry about. But they're expecting, they're expecting something crazy every time someone walks in. I've been feeling they're expecting some real obnoxious people that are like, getting beer right now. Getting beer right now. Getting beer right now. We sat down. We were quiet and calm and nice. You know what? Clickety click. Welcome back. Chickity click. So we were calm and nice, and we did what anybody that was a nice customer would do. We just sat down and enjoyed a couple beverages. We even got some delicious soup. They had some bouillon soup or something. I can't remember, but maybe it was the beer. But it was good, needless to say. And that is the end of day 3. We did a little bit more walking around Sapporo that night. Just checked out some things. I think we might have went to the arcade, because there was a cool arcade. At that point, we were kind of cruising around, just checking out the ladies, really, because there's so many beautiful women in Hokkaido. It's just unfair. Why are they all up there? So, long story short, again, I'm going to move to Hokkaido in a matter of as soon as possible. But I'm not going to get too far off of a tangent. I'm almost done with the Hokkaido saga, so I can get back to the, the regular talk about my life on a regular basis kind of thing, which I'm going to just do right now anyway. Today, at work, I gave the first batch of Shiroi Koibito cookies out to my fellow coworkers. Those are the cookies that Uribayashi ate a couple videos ago, and I had one today, and it was good. It was a good cookie. It's like 2 pieces of like Pepperidge Farm shortbread sandwiched around a glorious piece of chocolate, like a healthy, delicious, fresh piece of chocolate. And for some reason, I want to say there might have been some marshmallow activity or something cementing the cookie to the chocolate. It might have been one of the most high-class s'mores I've ever eaten. And on that note, I will say to you goodbye until next time. Roohaa Degozaru. Out.